Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great Sunday. If you've been following this series, this is where we left off yesterday. We finished up this sign that you would insert in front of the fence. And after just looking at it for a while, I felt as though, because here's the other insert that goes next to it. It's this. And when I put them side by side on, inserted into the fence, I felt as though there's too much orange, there's too much green. I don't know. Something was bothering me. So I went ahead and created a sign. I feel as though I need to pull some blue back into this design. Hello. Because I have, the scarecrow up there with his bib overalls that are blue and the hat band is blue. And I just felt that I needed to bring some blue into this. So I created a sign, which I'm not going to paint today. I'll probably paint that next week. But I'm going to go ahead and start painting the banners and see how I feel about that. But right now, I'm not feeling both of these side by side. I just don't know what it is. What I am going to do is I will make this particular piece a shelf sitter. As a matter of fact, I already made a base for it where I will sit it off to the side of the fence. Hello. That's one thing I'm going to do. I'll probably include it as part of the file for this particular design. And then I have to decide how I want to handle the DIY wood kit. So, like I said, I'm just not feeling it. I don't know what it is. So, I don't know. What I do know is I am going to paint this mug the blue. And I'm actually going to spatter it to, hey Lori, I'm actually going to spatter it with probably some antique white. You at work? I forget. And then I have a little pumpkin that you can glue on this if that's what you want to do. I did not score this because you might not want to glue that pumpkin on there. You might just want to leave the mug like it is. So I always like to give those options. And when I spatter this, I'm going to spatter it offline or when I take a break or something, because I don't want to do that while I'm live because, well, rather underneath my phone, because I don't want to get paint all up in my phone. Cell phones are not cheap, and I'm not going to ruin mine. Oh, okay. Well, have a good day, Lori. I love you. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. I'm not going to ruin my phone doing that. So we're going to use the Williamsburg blue and paint this. Like I said, I just feel as though there's more blue that just needs to go into this. That's what I'm feeling. And honestly, I like the blue and orange together. So the sign I made is going to be a sign that has a pumpkin on it. And I'm going to do the lettering in blue. I'm thinking the background, thank you, probably in buttermilk. And then the frame will be the antique white. That's my thoughts. But I absolutely love this blue. It's very country. And it's actually somewhat primitive too. I hope they don't get rid of this or I will be in trouble. I need to let that dry. All right, I'm gonna paint the acorns, honey brown. I don't have all my paints out here. Oh, there it is. Which that's not normal. I wanted to come on earlier today, but I was designing that other element for this. Like I said, I wasn't feeling it. So we have some caps that we're going to glue on top of this, so I'm going to make sure I go up far enough. And then I'm just going to go ahead and paint this little stem the honey brown as well. My bird is just talking up a storm down there. And speaking of storms, it looks like it's going to rain again. So the Cavs are on tonight at 6:30. I will be watching that game. It is a home game for us. We are playing Indiana, and Indiana is tough. I think they're going to give us a run for our money. So hopefully Darius Garland is doing better and will be able to play. I don't even know why I'm doing this, because I am going to probably go over this again. He's a key player. So we will see what happens. It's going to be a very good series. And then it's Game 7 of the Golden State. I believe it's Houston. And I don't know what to think. Personally, I like to see Houston win, but I don't know. That one's going to be an interesting game as well. I think that comes on at 9. I'm at the point that I much rather watch basketball, pro-wise, than football. I really do enjoy basketball. I love college basketball, love college football, but yeah. They just keep screwing around with professional football. I mean, I don't know. It's not I don't know. I just don't care for it anymore. It's getting out of sorts. All right, I'm going to do a little highlighting with winter blue, and I really want it to be so faint. I might even put in this cruddy brush, but These little angle brushes I got from Michael's, they're pretty good brushes. They hold both the paint and the water. Oh, and it's going to be a bark fest. Been watching the family of red fox. I haven't been seeing the babies a whole lot, but the mama is actually injured. And is limping around. I'm not quite sure what happened there. And I'm going to try and go around the outside of this. And I don't have enough water on my brush. And I'm probably going to use this mop brush to kind of calm this down a little bit. It's really, honestly, not a great float. So let me try this other brush, and I might have to, I'm going to, I'm actually going to mix both colors. That's a lot wider than really what I want. I just want that curved part highlighted. Hello. And we're going to do some shading with Deep Midnight Blue. And I'll widen that up a little bit. And I'm going to shade underneath here, and I'll probably have to re-highlight that one piece. But we'll see. What I'm just trying to do with my shading and highlighting, especially my shading, is I'm trying to create dimension. And what I mean by that is this is just one whole piece with some score lines. I'm trying to give an optical illusion of layers from this one piece of wood. So that's how I approach my shading and highlighting. I think I want that just a titch darker down below. And then I'm gonna have to let that dry really, really good. And then what I wanna do is with the smaller brush is kind of underneath that score line. And I'm gonna go on this handle. I just feel like that float is not going to be wide enough. I don't know. I think I'll get me a bigger brush. This is a big brush. And if I have to, I'll do a little dry brushing. All right, let's go underneath this little score line. See what I can do there. And then I definitely will have to go back over that highlight float. And I spend a lot of time floating color, highlighting and shading. I just feel, excuse me, it just gives your project, your finished project, just a better look. That's kind of more than I wanted. Well, it's not too bad. I'm gonna wait for that to dry really good and try and do another layer of shading underneath that cup. And then I will go back and highlight just a titch more. Let's see where we're at. That's pretty good. And I think just for giggles, I'm going to highlight up in here. I kind of missed my mark, but I don't think you're going to see it real well. And I think I'm going to brighten up this very bottom of the cup next to the shading. And I'm just taking this mop brush and kind of fading the ends of it. All right. See what I can get away with. Kind of wiped it a little bit too much. Alright. And like I said, I'm going to probably have to hit that again with the dark, but I'm okay with that. I can spend a lot of time on detailed work, and I do. That's where all my time goes as far as painting. But I just like the end result that I get. All right, good enough. I'm going to use a little bit of camel to highlight around the bottom of this acorn. Kind of hope that fades. That might be a little bit more brighter than what I wanted. Pretty heavy-handed today. All right, and I'm going to use milk chocolate to shade underneath these where the caps are going to be. And while I'm at it, highlight the top of that. And I'll go back over that because I want it definitely darker. I kind of feel like I should take that bigger brush, and I might to do my to do another coat of shading. Because I want that float just a little bit wider. And I'm walking the float down a little bit, trying to expand that shadow as well. I love these brushes I got from Hobby Lobby. I mean, they're really good angle brushes. Very good. I used to buy another brand and paid twice the amount of money for my brushes, and they didn't last. They don't hold up. They didn't hold up, and it was extremely disappointing. And I take care of my brushes. I'm not pouncing on them and beating the heck out of them, and yeah. So I hope these brushes that I got from Hobby Lobby, I keep them for a while, because they're definitely good brushes. Okay, I'm just rolling along here. So I'm going to paint the caps of the acorn dark chocolate along with this dark chocolate. Are you going to be able to see the score lines? Probably not. But I'm okay with that. That's funny, that little piece of wood from the scoring kind of fell out. And I did remove my dots on that other sunflower I did. I didn't care for it. It's gonna bug me, so there we go. Okay. I almost have a adorable design done for my interchangeable bench. So I'm looking forward to revealing that. Now the highlighting color on this is actually milk chocolate. So I think I'm going to just highlight the tops of these caps. And then the shading color is actually soft black. And I might just lighten up this one area. While I'm at it, I think I will highlight the top of this. And I'm going to take some of this camel and this milk chocolate. This could end up being an epic fail. I'm going to put just a little bit more milk chocolate in there. I really want this one to be lighter because it's in front. You just have to decide how much time you want to spend. All right, let's take the soft black and shade in between these two. And this is actually done. And I might, thinking about it, I think I'm gonna just go like right along where this curve is and darken that up a little bit. I'll have to go over it again. Kind of has to be a personal preference how you go about shading and highlighting. I kind of know what I'm after, what kind of look I'm after. So I kind of gear towards that. I bet those are done. I might hit that shading a little bit more, but very full. And I know I want to use soft black. On this as well, so I'm just going to kind of go around the bottom just to darken it up. And I'm going to see if I can widen this float a little bit. And I'm good with it. All right. Okay. I want to paint this light buttermilk. Because I think personally white will be too bright against everything. So I'm just going to use a light buttermilk, and then I'm going to shade with probably some antique white. And I might not spatter that mug. I was thinking about it, but I'm not going to now. And while I'm at it, I'll start painting these leaves. And use the Hauser medium green. I kind of figured this would be a quick paint. The only thing that's gonna slow me down is the detailed work on the pumpkin, because I'm pretty fussy how I want it done. Oh, that's too much paint. That might be enough. Gonna look out. All right. Let's see about doing a little dry brushing of the Hauser light green. That's going to be kind of tough. Let me get me a new one. On these tiny leaves. I might just have to, and I think I will, just float from the get-go on that. I'm getting a little bit there. Hello. Probably ought to keep your eyes on the road. Yes, not. All right. I'm doing the exact same techniques I did on my other leaves. I like the results I got, so I'm not gonna change them. So if you find something that works for you, stick with it. Alright, let's try and look, just a little bit of shading. And I'm going to use this cruddy brush because honestly I don't really want a whole lot of shading. I don't want my whipped cream looking like a zebra. Just trying to get just a little bit of color. The shading's pretty minimal, and that's kind of what I was after. That was a little bit darker than what I wanted, but it's all right. All right. Hit that again. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll get these pumpkins painted. We're almost done with this. It's just painting these pumpkins, doing detailed work on them, painting the sunflower, doing a little detailed work on it, and it's done. And I haven't even been on here 3 hours. Oh, I gotta paint the stems of these pumpkins. Didn't even think about that. Oops. I might still have some brown out, and I do. Well, I don't know what that was and where that came from. That's interesting. I went down too far. So, I'm not really going to worry about it a whole lot. Okay. And while I'm at it, let's just get everything base coated because I am going to have to change my water. Let's base coat this sunflower with marigold. Okay, what the heck is that? Interesting. Try that again. I didn't do a good job cutting my sponge. I mean, you're not gonna get great coverage with that going on. So today's tip is that if you're using a sponge to apply paint and you're cutting off, you want to make sure you cut it flat, because this doesn't work. Now it'd be interesting to see what type of texture you could create with that, and you definitely could create some type of texture. Alright. Okay, this is pretty dry, so I'm going to dry brush the Hauser Dark Green on here and get my brush really clean, and then hopefully it'll be dry enough when I need it again for the orange. I'm putting way too much paint out so dirtily today. Very dirtily. And that is not a good thing. Not in a long shot. All right. I'm trying to see if I can get away with darkening any of these, but I didn't think I would. but I attempted it. I am going to go back and float because that always adds a more solid color. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on these teeny tiny leaves. And I do need to, I want a shade. So I think what I'll do is take a wider brush and just try to float underneath where that vein is. And then kind of just darken up this particular leaf. Let's see how that looks. I need to just plain dry brush it. So I'm going to use another. It just looks weird. Just looks a little weird. And personally, I kind of wish I would have never went up to that main line, but what's done is done. Just looks weird. Ain't too bad, I guess. And I am going to cover that up a bit because that's going to bother me. It just looks too perfect. So I'm just kind of using, adding water to the hauser, medium green, and kind of just doing a wash. Because what it's going to do, it's going to mute that hauser dark green. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. It just looks better. I think I'm going to lighten up this one little leaf a little bit more. All right. Okay. I'm going to take the raw sienna. Oh, no, I need to highlight first. So, my water's pretty messy. So I'm going to empty my water. I'm going to come back. We'll start highlighting the sunflower. I need to, that's going to bother me. We're going to highlight the sunflower and the pumpkin, shade it, and this is good to go. I mean, it's done. So this is kind of where we're at. Like I said, I have that pumpkin to glue on here, and I think that'll look really good on the blue. But you got this. And you got this for parts of the banner. And once I put that pumpkin on there too, that's gonna like help it make, you know, associate with fall. Right now you might think, well, what is it, a latte or whatever? But yeah, once I put that pumpkin on there, it'll just kind of associate better. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and empty out my water, and I'll be back shortly. Hopefully you stick around. So these are done. And we're going to work on highlighting the pumpkin and this sunflower. And I'm going to use light buttermilk this time around to highlight just the tips. And I think this brush isn't dry enough. Can I get away with it? I'm gonna attempt it. That's a little bit darker than what I wanted. My brush isn't dry all the way, so that's what you're gonna get. Because I'm trying to dry brush, and when you dry brush, you gotta have a dry brush. That's why it's called dry brushing. But so I'm going to use my tangerine to highlight this pumpkin. And I don't have a whole lot of room to work with on this one pumpkin. I'll have to go over that numerous times. That's one thing I don't like about this color. I think it's a good highlighting color for this orange. It just takes so many coats to get what you're after. Hopefully that doesn't fade too much. So did anyone watch the Kentucky Derby yesterday? That track was a mess. I was afraid that, you know, it was possible that a horse could get hurt. And I'm glad that didn't happen. That was my concern. Alright, let's see what I can get away with in the middle here. I might have to go down one side, let it dry. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. It's two. Well, let's try it. Not too bad. Okay, I think that should be hopefully bright enough. Try just a little bit more. That's pretty bold. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Then I always go back and highlight once I shade anyways. I just find sometimes you need to add a little extra highlight. All right. Gonna use the burnt orange to shade. And I won't be doing any dry brushing of shading on that little teeny tiny pumpkin. I think it's asking too much. Got a little bit bolder line than what I wanted. Let's see if I can touch that up. And the reason why is I wasn't keeping even pressure on my brush. I was putting more pressure on the point where all the paint was. And when you do that, that also too helps create a bold line. But I'm not gonna sit there and fuss with it. That needs to dry really good so I can dry brush. Alright, I'm gonna take raw sienna and go around the sunflower. I don't have a whole lot of paint or water on there. I'm just trying to look to create just a little bit of shadow. I don't want this to be really dark. I need to go over that one side pretty good again. But other than that, I'm kind of just marking little pieces here and there. So I kind of know how far to go down. And all this is going to do is just create just a little bit of a shadow. It's very mild. That's good enough. Alright, let's try and get a little bit more. Well, that was a lot more. Oh well. That was a lot more. And I'm not even going to highlight the tips of these petals. I mean, not the tips, but, you know, the edges of them. I'm just going to do some shadow between the petals with raw umber, and that's that. And this is done. We'll get it glued together, and this banner is done. Now I won't glue it, put the banner together while I'm live. But what I like to do is I like to use jute, that's what I use. And I take way more than I need because I'd rather be safe than sorry. And just create a loop at one end, and I don't tighten that loop because I might need to adjust it. And then I just feed my pieces on in the order that I want them. And take it over to my fence. And I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I have to. Take it over to my fence. And get the slack that I want. That's what works for me. That's how I like to do it. All right. Good enough. So let's start gluing. Let's glue. And some of these pieces are tiny, tiny, tiny. This is where these tweezers come in handy. I just dip it in my glue, tap the excess off, and then I just bring it over here and place it, and pray to God that I get it lined up. I didn't do too bad. just use my Q-tip to put a little bit on here, because it don't take a whole lot of glue. And this is going to be interesting. You better move quick. I didn't get it lined up the way I wanted, but yeah. Okay, what I'm going to do is that's shifting, so I'm going to just break the piece. It doesn't matter. There you go. And you want to make sure you get the holes lined up on these pieces, or you will have an issue. And that's pretty darn good. And same with this. Make sure you get it lined up. I mean, the holes are a little bit larger, and I did that for a reason, just in case you were doing something like this. That way, if you were off a little bit, you'd still be able, if you wanted to use, you know, jute, it would still feed through there. Whoop. So you're kind of trying to line this up on the with the outside edge and the holes. And then we're just going to put this little pumpkin right here in the center. And I think that'll be cute. Maybe I'll just do a drop of glue. This is not going to take much. And figure out where your center is, where you actually want it. And there you go. So probably how I'll do mine is like this. That way, you know, I don't have too much brown, too much orange side by side. So that's probably how I'll string mine along. But I like it. I think this is going to be a cute banner, and it screams fall. And it's going to be a great addition to this fence. So that's that for this. Let me just kind of show you my other thing. And I don't know if I'm going to come live and paint this. What I'll do is just kind of explain to you what I have and what I'm going to do. So let me just do that. And I'm not going to bring my letters over here because they're tiny. But this is the base of the sign. And like I said, I'm going to paint this probably a light buttermilk, I think is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to paint the frame antique white. I'm going to paint my lettering the Williamsburg blue. And I'll probably do some shading on the bottom of them. I don't see myself doing the whole ombre thing. And then I'm going to do my pumpkin like I've been doing it with the spice pumpkin and highlighting with tangerine and shading with burnt orange, doing Hauser medium green on the leaves and highlighting with Hauser light green and shading with Hauser dark green. And I might even put some of that staining wax on just to make it look a little more aged. But I think this will help bring in more blue and help. There just won't be a whole lot of orange. The only orange is going to be the pumpkin. So this is going to be an adorable addition. And then, like I said, I am going to probably make the other part a shelf sitter. I already have a base for it. And I'll stick that off to the side. But then what that does too is it adds another element to this fence. But it also kind of breaks up the orange as well. So that's what my plans are. But I really like this sign. It's very country. It's very farmhouse. And when I get done with it, it's going to be very aged and rustic. So, and that's what I'm after. So, if I decide to paint this live, if you like my page and you are set up to receive notifications, you'll get a notification. If I don't, you'll see a picture of my finished product, and you'll just have to review this video to review what I told you I was going to put on there. So, alrighty. So until then, take care. Bye-bye.